Hello, my dear audience, lovely friends. Welcome to the East West Show. Jack Chow on the East West Show with G&E TV. Today, to start the week with, our whole week with, we want to touch the healthcare issue. Healthcare issue has been there for so long, been so many years past. Since 2010, when Obamacare was given birth to, it took about a year and a half to install it. And after installation, shortly after installation, President Trump came into office, and then the overturn started with efforts after efforts after efforts, and they failed again and over again. Now they're still talking about it. And finally, we're talking about they are trying to push a bill, the GOP bill, to pass through Senate House. Unfortunately, in the Senate House, they started a domestic fight themselves. So that was aborted. And then we don't know where to go. We the people, are kind of left in the corner of unattended. So today I have my friend Coco Wang, founder and CEO of Gold Honor, and #1 top of the line professionals to talk about the issue. So Coco, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jack, and thank you, everyone.
Like I said, every time I have a crying baby, I always bring the crying baby to the mother. You, in your case, the crying baby sister. Anyway, maybe you're crying too, I believe, right? Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. First, I want you possibly, if you could possibly give me an overall picture about where we are. We're lost. Because there are so many versions, issues, and re-divided, re-divided, on and on. We lost where we are. Yeah, please.
Okay. So let's start with the Affordable Care Act. Affordable Care Act, also known as the Obamacare, was currently what we have in the system right now. It has been implemented for several years, and it's going pretty well. As in California, a lot of people know this new change, this new law as Obamacare, or we call it Cover California.
Covered California.
Correct. However,
that's the current
Correct.
one we have.
Yes.
Okay. Being overturned.
Correct.
To be overturned.
To be overturned.
Okay.
So, however, when President Donald Trump was in the office, he implemented a new plan that's called American Health Care Act. With this law, a lot of the things from the Affordable Care Act got changed. Some remain the same, some got changed. However, it's the new version of healthcare that we're probably gonna be facing coming up. But whether, as far as when it's gonna be implemented, when is the change going to be effective, it's unknown as of today. So actually, the last Thursday of June 2017, which is not too long ago, I think it's a Thursday, the Senate Republicans also announced a new bill, which is called the Better Care Reconciliation Act. What this act does is that on top of American Health Care Act, and the Senate Republican announced itself the newer version of the repeal of Obamacare. So what we're really right now is just debating between the American Health Care Act and then the Better Care Reconciliation Act to see which one will be implemented in the upcoming future.
In other words, it's the argument of GOP themselves.
Correct.
Themselves, amongst themselves.
Correct.
Right? Okay, now, it sounds to me that unless somebody can improve Obamacare to a better stage, we don't need another care, do we?
Correct, because as we know that what Affordable Care Act or Obamacare does is that it gives a lot of uninsured people insurance, whether it's through government subsidy, whether it's through more affordable way of paying premium, or whether it's through less deductible, removal of the lifetime maximum, and even pre-existing condition requirements. However, with the new 2 Act coming up, whether it's the American Health Care Act or the Better Care Reconciliation Act, both of the act is trying to shrink the budget toward subsidizing people who need health care insurance. As a result, the GOP actually announced that they actually are expecting 22 million in 10 years. Population will get no insurance or shrink insurance sizes.
Yeah. On one hand, they do know that there are going to be 22 million people out of healthcare, and on the other hand, they are pushing it. Correct. So, is there any motivation behind?
There could be two, to be honest. One is definitely politics, because as we know, whether the law will go in force, on top of what we as the citizen are implementing, are voting on, it's also the politicians that are making the decisions. That really is out of my boundary. But the second reason really is because how Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, give a lot of subsidy to the poor, the less privileged. As a result, it creates a lot of a budget deficit in the country. So right now we want to fix this budget deficit. So therefore, we're targeting on people's health care in order to cut off the budget deficit. And as a result, people are getting, higher premium for less generous insurance.
But they are holding the health care budget ransom.
Correct.
Right? Because there are many holes, many areas when money is squandered.
Correct.
Right? And then they are holding this. So my take is, and lots of my own people, folks around me, they think this is number one, no political matter, yet they are making a big political issue in it. And now there are three, instead of two players, Democratic Party and GOP Party, there are three players, right? Democratic, GOP 1 and GOP 2. So three players. They all play the game, right? The political game. And we, the people, who are the ones to be protected, who are the ones paying tax with the expectation in return to be protected, are left forgotten. So it's unfair. It is unfair.
Correct. Personally, I feel the same way as well, because as a lot of my customers are calling me, asking me what to do after they hear the news, because this debate over health insurance has been ongoing ever since the candidate of the new presidency has been going on. So really, it remains unclear, and as far as how the solution will be presented is unknown, but we need to stay tuned.
But one thing is that anybody or any organization or any house, right, on a higher level, a higher elevation, to recognize this as a problem. Exactly like the title of the show today, regardless of whatever, go to hell, we don't care, all right? Americans, we need a health care. So we, the people, need a health care. Okay? So anybody or any level, probably the, let's see, Supreme Court, right? Let's use the Justice Department. So to justify the thing that we, the people, need care. Like, go to hell, politics. We don't care about it. So could we push something of that to happen?
That, as far as what I know of, it could be, because as we know, in order for any act to become, or any bill to become the law, it has to go through the Senate, the Congress, and also the presidential election, right? So because on our end, really, we can't do much in terms of going through the Senate or the Congress. However, we can raise our voice in terms of our politicians, the different district representatives, in order to speak on behalf of us.
So in other words, my dear audience, my lovely fellow Americans, it is about us. It is a critical moment. It is a devastating moment that we want really to get ourselves motivated. Because someday, somehow, it's going to end up that we are left over on the street, whereas the political parties are playing a game they're enjoying the playing, and then we left no care. So that's very devastating, right? Okay, now, Speaking of the care itself, and there are lots of details we talk about, where we got to talk about. And what if we take a short break now? When we come back, we, for example, pick up areas block by block, right? So let's see what those blocks remains, survives all the way, Obamacare, Trump Care 1, Trump Care 2, which is Senate bill, which are died halfway, which are the ones never survived. How about that?
Okay.
All right. So,
Sounds
okay, my dear audience, today with me is my good friend, a big friend, a young petite lady, but big friend to the community in terms of healthcare, Coco Wang, founder and the CEO of Gold Honor. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Hello, my lovely friends, dear audiences. Welcome back to the discussion about the fact that we, the people, need a care. When we say a care, we don't care what kind of care, whose care is, what political party that goes by the name. No, we don't care. Go to hell with the politics, all right? We want a care.
correct.
That's it.
Correct.
Down to the bottom, right?
Correct.
Want to the care. Take myself, for example. I have a bad tooth today, and all I need to see is a doctor. That's it. Don't show me any politics. I don't care about it. I care about myself. Okay, now, with me today is my good friend, a big friend, Coco. And Coco is also a big supporter to the community. She, for the years, I noticed that she and her Gold Honor has a great concern about the community. Both by number one, providing services, and number two, providing knowledge, the understanding to the community about the whole healthcare industry. Now, today, once again, we are inviting her to come over here to share the views. Problem is that we have Obamacare being very shaky to be overturned. And then we have the GOP, American Health Care Act, which is created by Donald Trump, passed the Assembly House,
Correct.
supposed to go to the Senate House, and before anything happens, Senate itself, they produce another bill, another act, and then it's Act A, Act B, Act 3, all messed up at this very moment.
Correct.
Okay, now, let's come down a little bit, find out which are those elements that survives the whole process till today, even at the Senate Senate issue still remain. Which are those died halfway, please?
All right. So I actually looked into all three acts and then did a little bit short of comparison. So we'll break it down a little by little. So let's first talk about people under age of 26.
All right.
As we know, under the Obamacare, also called Affordable Care Act, we, as dependent of our parents, with my age being under 26, I could stay with my parents as a family plan all the way until I'm reaching 26. Then I'm mandated to leave the family and buy insurance of my own. So what this does is that, as we know, insurance also always have a individual and a family deductible. After meeting the individual deductible, then we go into the co-insurance stage, which we pay less in percentage, and the insurance pick up some percentage.
I see.
After we meet the deductible plus the co-insurance, which is called our annual out-of-pocket maximum, then we don't pay for anything. Insurance picks up everything that we're supposed to be paying. So with those, if we, we have a lot of people in my family and people are of similar age, we could use the family deductible instead of the individual deductible. As a result, we will save on our overall out-of-pocket healthcare expense. That remained the same with the House bill, which is the American Health Care Act.
Survived.
And also survived with the Senate draft of the Better Care Reconciliation Act.
Oh, the 26-year line survives all the way till even now.
Correct.
Which the Senate bill itself.
Correct.
Okay, very good. That probably indicates that's a healthy bill.
Which is good because, as we know, people of young age may not have a big problem. But you know, if I'm reaching 26, my parents are probably reaching their 50s and 60s, which then it's all the chronic disease may kick in to happen. So with everybody combined into one plan, it limits the family deductible. So if the parents did use up all the out-of-pocket expense, the child when seeing the doctor would then no longer be paying the same.
Exactly. If you take the whole country as a basket, though, you're talking about an average, right?
Correct.
And then if you shrink the basket to a family size, inside the family, you're still talking about an average. The chances of a whole family goes to see a doctor, that's very rare.
Correct.
Right, you go, I don't need to go, right? Or maybe the son goes, the daughter wouldn't go, something like that. And then again, you're taking the same average, only you are counting them unit by unit instead of a whole basket. That is very logic, and that's why it survives, right?
Yeah, which is a good news to most of the families because we always want to, it's like a piggy bank, once we accumulate, everybody accumulates, it's full, then we don't pay for anything.
Okay,
so
very good.
good.
What else survived?
What else survived also is the, actually a little bit of change coming up the way, the adult under 65. So as we know, before, under Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act, if we're younger people, we're a younger generation, we can, and you're the older generation, you will be charged as much as 3 times as my premium.
That's in Obamacare?
That's in Obamacare, as much as 3 times. However, in the future, both the American Health Care Act and the Better Care Reconciliation Act, they both said you can charge up the elderly as much as 5 times as the youngerly. So the premium actually increased.
Instead of 3 times, now 5 times.
5 times as much as the younger.
Suppose you're paying 100, now you're facing 500.
So if I'm paying 100, under Obamacare, you'll be paying at most 300, because that's 3 times as much as mine.
Yeah, I know.
However,
and by the Senate version, you're talking about 500.
Yeah. So as we know, the American Health Care and the Better Care Reconciliation Act will not probably favor the elderly as much as the younger generations. Not to say on the premium side and also on the benefit side. Because as we know, really the American Health Care Act and the Better Care Reconciliation Act is they're trying to cut the budget deficit. As a result, the government will give you less subsidy to the buyers of insurance. And the users of insurance will pick up more of the out-of-pocket expense, which means the insurance plan, the benefit design will probably not be as good, as rich as the Obamacare. So as a result, we're paying a higher premium and also getting less insurance benefit.
Does it reflect or does it go to the those folks who are retired or under a certain age? They do the Medicaid or Medi-Cal?
So Medicare is the people,
Medicare.
Yeah, who actually are retiring and then getting their Part A from the government, and they pay for their Part B premium. So with those insurance, there has not been any change really announced to our Medicare population or dental insurance or vision insurance. Really, what we're really talking about is just people under age of 65, the current generation who's receiving government subsidy.
What if above? They go above. Anything change?
So far as I know, not yet. However, as we know, for Medicare, which is generally the retirement insurance, health insurance, people get covered up to 100 days in skilled nursing facilities. So kind of like your long-term care needs, if you do need to live or reside in a skilled nursing facility, Medicare will cover up to 100
You mean
days.
assisted living?
Yeah.
Assisted living. Yeah. Okay.
Medicare will cover 100 days. That's with Obamacare right now. With the future two laws or the debating two laws, American Health Care Act and the Better Care Reconciliation Act, they will still cover 100 days. However, the difference lays in that currently, if you have Medicare and you used up the 100 days, if you do qualify for Medi-Cal or also Medicaid, you can apply subsidy and they might cover some benefit there. So maybe they will extend 10 days.
But limited subsidy.
Limited subsidy.
Okay, what if the extra 10 days run out?
Then that's why we suggest senior to buy long-term care insurance because
so
it's very important.
Kick them out on the street, become homeless.
Or usually they assign them to some sort of program, sometimes home health, so their child will be taking care of them, and then the government from the Medicaid side will give them some sort of salary in order to be caregivers of their elderly.
Okay, all right. So it is very confusing. Even Obamacare, under Obamacare, you're talking about only 100 days, but there are 365 days in a year.
Correct.
Right? So the 100 days applies to on an annual basis or on what?
On an annual basis.
Annual basis.
However, if you exit a skilled nursing facility over 90 days, they recount the 100 days. So if I was there for 99 days and then I exit on the 100th day, if I go back the next day, it will still count at the 100th
very good.
day.
All right.
Yeah.
That's good.
But if I skip for maybe 5 months and then I go back to a skilled nursing facility again, then it's okay. They will recount the 100 days.
I see.
So from day one.
In other word, under Obamacare, somehow it still works.
It still works.
Somehow it still works. So under the two versions, the Assembly version and the Senate version, it worked somehow, somewhere, and with a little extra 10 days something.
Actually, the 10 days is just what we proposed. So we don't know how much they will qualify you. But as far as what we know, they will give a big budget cut to Medicaid, whether it's under the American Health Care Act or the Better Care Reconciliation Act. Both of these acts target to shrink the subsidy under Medicaid.
I see.
So the people who, Medicare beneficiaries who used up their 100 days covered under Medicare were now facing a risk of no coverage after if they want to apply with Medicaid.
Okay, off of Obamacare, what was the one, or will be the one that will die anyway? So in other words, we're talking about those survived, right? Which are the terms that died already?
Okay.
Or supposed to die?
Yes, there are two major things that I think I need to bring to your attention. One is we have, under Obamacare, President Obama made the preventive care as part of the essential benefit package, such as, if I were a kid, I was under age 18, I supposed to get my dental, get my vision included in any plan, any health insurance plan that I have. And if I'm over 18, you have to be purchased these three plans separately. And also that, things like Planned Parenthood, which prevents, unexpected pregnancy, and things like, annual pap smear, annual checkup, these are all covered at zero expenses. However, with the new law, the government gives the state government a little bit of freedom. You could choose you continue to offer them, or you could choose to take away some of the essential benefits. As a result, the preventive portion may not be free and also may not be covered at the entire expense of the insurance.
In other words, the preventive care is going to die anyway.
Maybe some portion of it. I don't know how big a portion.
Some portion of it.
Yeah, will die out.
You just now mentioned about eyesight, eye, and dental. I don't know how much about eye, but dental, for dental, I believe I know a bit. At least I know I suffer a bit, right? So, shall we, after this break, when we come back, touch that a little bit? Okay, very good. With me today, my dear audiences, is my lovely friend, a young lady, Coco Wang. Young as she is the CEO and the founder of Gold Honor, top of the line professional for healthcare industry. And thanks to her knowledge, thanks to her love to the community, every time we have questions, when we are bothered so much to a point we have her come here to talk about. This is one of the many times she's here. Once again, I thank her very much. Let's take a very short moment. When we come back, we'll find out what's going on with the healthcare in the special way to find out the dental area. How about our dental care? Stay with us, please. Hello, my friends, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow on East West with G&E TV. There are lots of things to worry about, especially at this very moment. Among those many things to be worried about, healthcare is the issue. It's a very, very serious issue because without health care, without good health, everything is fake. Everything is fake, so fake that you don't even want to think about because you have no foundation. You got to live to enjoy, right? Right. So suppose if you die, nothing happens to you, nothing related to you, so you are out of the game anyway. To be in the game and to be in good health, to be in good position to enjoy, you need health care. That's why the issue of health care throughout the many presidencies, I believe we may recall from even Bill Clinton time, all the way to present, never ever anyone have it resolved. Whereas in Europe, in many other countries, you're talking about in general care to the public, everybody is insured from head to toe. We, the number one country, number one nation on the global earth, now still suffering, for example, a toothache. Right? You have to you have to hold on for the whole process, to let Mother Nature take care, which is totally unfair. With me, my good friend Coco Wang, founder and CEO, she is the one of the top of the line professionals sharing her knowledge on the healthcare whole issue. My question, like I said, regardless of Obamacare, regardless of a Senate bill, regardless of an Assembly bill, regardless of a Senate bill, whoever, what is the position of dental care?
Dental care, actually, as far as the three bills or three acts goes, has not been really flowing to the surface yet, because really what we cared about so much is just medical insurance, because medical insurance technically is considered the essential insurance. Without it, we wouldn't be able to see doctors, wouldn't be able to go to emergency room, or get surgeries that we needed. So with dental insurance, as far as currently, American Affordable Care Act is considered a separate package for people who are over 18. So under 18, under any of the new of the existing Affordable Care Act plans, it will include a plan for child. So only pediatric dental and pediatric vision are covered under plans that have pediatric on there. However, for people like us, we're over age of 18, then we will have to purchase it separately.
All right. Okay. Now, under Obamacare or Assembly bill or Senate bill, is there anything that's under the care itself that covers your dental?
So with the new two proposals, the new act, we haven't heard anything regarding whether they will remove the pediatric dental as it was added on to the plan by Obamacare. However, we know that they're trying to get the budget cut, so we're expecting that to be happening. So original, the pediatric dental and pediatric vision were included whether you have a pediatric.
Okay, let's put it in dollar terms. Okay, let's do a simplest thing.
Okay.
To make the complicated matter simplified.
Okay.
Now, for somebody like me myself, 65 years of age, male, right? Good health, something like that, right? So for me to get covered to the extent of satisfaction, satisfaction doesn't mean I have to stay in #1 hospital every 1 month for 2 days, something like that. No, it doesn't mean that. Okay, mean I need help, there is help. Whenever I need help, there is help, right? So how much do I pay if this whole thing comes out of my pocket?
Okay. So there's two things I want to mention before we proceed.
Under
further.
Obamacare, for example.
So we have PPO plans and HMO plans. So HMO plans are the ones you need authorization to see a specialist, and PPO is really the ones that you can just go to see a specialist yourself. With PPO, since it's more convenient, you're looking at higher cost. So it really depends on your health. If you're healthy, we will recommend you to save on some of your budget and go with the HMO. Because even with HMO, if you have emergency, you can go to any network, any hospital, any emergency room you can.
All right.
So it does not limit to the network.
Okay, any of these cover dental?
These are not covering
Okay,
dental.
now, if the same person, I just fake out the person as I, right? The fake out the person wants dental. Okay, how much he or she has to pay for the part of dental?
It's between $30 to $100-something. The reason being, there's two reasons. So first of all, with dental insurance currently, we don't know about the future. There's any individual and family purchase dental and group dental are two different things. So dental purchase through as an individual plan or a family plan, we have a waiting period, kind of like a probation period for employment. What it does is that you have to pay premium, say for 6 months. During the first 6 months, you can only use preventive care. That means you could use the dental plan to clean your teeth, to do an X-ray, to do a fluoride treatment, but nothing else.
Okay.
And then after you pay the premium for 6 months, coming up the 7th month, you could do minor surgery. That is like extraction and filling. Those are minor surgeries. And then after 12 months, you can do major surgery. So technically, if you really have I say I want to pull my wisdom teeth out, I have to wait 12 months before I can use the insurance from the day when I was paying.
So if you do on a walk-in basis, right? Say, doctor, I need my wisdom teeth to be pulled out. So how much do they charge you in cash?
Probably around $400.
$400. And then for that, you're paying $1,200 to wait for a year to get your wisdom teeth pulled out.
Depends
it doesn't
on which
work
plan
logically.
you go.
Doesn't work out.
Yes. So that's why a lot of people, because dental insurance, dental care in U.S., we very much emphasize on it because we understand oral health is very important to the overall
Of course,
health of
of course.
So it's the price range can be from very minimal to very large, depending on which facility you go. And a lot of dentists that my clients have met with, they also say, if you pay cash, I give you 50% discount. So it really varies the range the price is, and then also the service, the quality you're receiving.
Okay. I see. In other words, if you go to the cash market versus the insurance market, there is probably a calculation to be made which will probably bring a result. Sometimes cash market might be even better.
Correct. However, I do have two recommendations. So with the two markets, the cash market and also the insurance market, you do want to keep in mind that dental insurance, the way they design this, have a waiting period, it's for long run. Just like employment. If you're new hired employee for a company, I give you a probation period. So you pass through the test, I know you're serious enough to be one of my employees, then I hire you formally. So with dental insurance, it's the same, because if you're only paying, say, $20 a month.
In other words, if they pass the probation period and then things go on,
there's no more probation
there's
period.
no more.
So they could use
In other
it.
words, anytime they go.
Correct.
All right. After all, not even that bad than I thought.
Correct. So the probation period is there to design to for long-term users.
I see.
You know, if I were living here and I constantly go get my tooth cleaned, it's better to have insurance whatsoever.
I see.
Because any minor surgery can cost you up to $800.
Yeah, right.
However, dental insurance is unlike medical insurance. Dental insurance have a cap of what insurance company pays. They give you an allowance. They only pay maybe $2,000 maximum for your benefit. Then after that, you're on your own.
I see.
Whereas insurance, how medical insurance is, you pay up to a maximum, then the rest.
How about
pick up
implant?
Implant, most of the time, you really have to check on the company and then benefit package. Most of the carriers do not cover it. Most of the carriers do not cover it.
In other words, it's just the invention. No medical care recognize it, right? As a necessity to cover.
Correct. So because implants, as we know, so anything like beauty will not be covered, like lose weight will not be covered.
No, you're not talking about beauty. You're talking about to have a set of a tooth to eat, to survive,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So,
but as far as the dental benefit goes, a lot of the group, like employer-sponsored group dental plan will cover it, but most of the family and individual plans are not covering implants, unfortunately.
I see. All right, okay. Very good. That sounds some, well, let's do some study, and sometimes numbers will tell. And in looking for the numbers, we find out, well, dental almost is the area you don't want to touch. You probably want to try the free market. Well, unless you want to consider being a constant, long-time buyer of that, or other than that, well, if you stop that.
Correct.
And then you start a new probation again once you buy, right? Okay, very good. We owe appreciation to my friend Coco Wang, founder and CEO of Gold Honor, top of the line professional in the supermarket, in the whole market of healthcare industry.
Thank you.
So let's take a very short moment out. When we come back, could we do some kind of speculation about where to go, where the whole situation will go? Because we do need to know that, right? So the gasoline price may be $10. Well, I can cut down driving, right? So if the price of healthcare goes double, I can't cut my life by half, right? Can we?
Correct.
Right? By logic. Okay, now, take a break. We'll be right back, please. Hello, welcome back, my dear audiences. Here today, we're talking about healthcare with me, my friend Coco Wang. Young as she is the founder and CEO of Gold Honor, and one of the top of the line industry of the insurance industry. Speaking of Obamacare, which is being overturned or to be overturned. By who, I don't know. We don't know yet, right? Supposed to be overturned. And there are different versions, different types from different houses, from different parties, or on and on and on and on. Nobody pays attention to the fact that we, the people, are suffering. We're suffering. We're suffering in the trepidation of not knowing where to go, of not knowing where the industry is supposed to go, of not knowing the bills or issues who will pass. Only we know one thing, that you live only once. That's it, right?
Correct.
Right. Okay. Now, we want to understand, or to at least give a guess, right? Not a thorough speculation, but a guess, rough guess about what will happen to the healthcare issue overall.
I think overall, like I mentioned in the previous sections as well, there will be a huge budget cut. Because the reason why people try to overturn Obamacare, try to overthrow or repeal the Affordable Care Act, is really because it brings a lot of people from uninsured to insured. however, creates a large budget deficit in the country. So in order to resolve this issue, we have to do budget cutting in order to shrink this budget deficit. As the GPO said, the Congressional Budget Office, there will be, because of this budget cut, there will be 22 million people being uninsured, lose their insurance in 10 years. So that's the number one goal.
But do they know when they do the cut, this is the part they cut off? They actually cut the 22 million people out of the chunk, the whole chunk. So it doesn't make sense. Say, hey, I want to cut, and I'm cutting off 22 million. So for the purpose of a saving budget, so they are the ones supposed to know that, the consequences.
Correct.
Right?
So I actually went to Europe this summer for a short vacation, and what I realized, as we know, Europe had the best healthcare we know. It's the single-payer system where everybody live really happy because when they go to see doctors or go to the hospital, there won't be a huge bill coming up. However, as we traveling around the city, we see a lot of unemployment individuals. And so we were talking to some of the local residents and asking them about the healthcare system and also the residents, the lifestyle and everything. They told me a lot of times because the insurance comes for free, or like the Affordable Care Act, it comes at ease. I didn't do anything. I went from uninsured to insured, and I'm not paying anything. People would tend to overutilize the insurance, especially the elderly, because before they were worried they are getting sick, they don't want to incur such a huge bill. Now they have free insurance, they get access to everywhere they could go see. So that creates a lot of medical abuse or abuse of medical use.
Sure.
So that's number one.
Abusive kind of risk, anyway.
Correct. So that's one reason why they should think about a way of targeting those individuals. And secondly, the one thing I think they need to think about is the disabled and then the mentally ill people. Because as we know, mentally ill and disabled insured, they are usually covered under Medi-Cal. There's different government, state government program that helps them to go see the treatment, the group behavioral, or even just overall giving them a caregiver that follow up on their status, a psychologist or psychiatrist. However, with the new budget cut with Medicaid, these people are at risk, and a lot of the people who are disabled and who are mentally ill could be younger children who were just born this way.
All right.
So this creates a big concern in my industry.
I see. So anyway, those are the, okay, now first, let's talk about one by one, right?
Okay.
You're talking about abusive act, abusive activities, right? So it is not only in the medical area, in the auto insurance, you're talking about abusive,
Correct.
right? And the fraud, or any banking system, right? It is a norm. It is a norm of the society. So you don't want to cut the thing off in order to prevent it, right? In other words, you don't want to stop eating because the food chokes you once,
Correct.
right? So doesn't make sense. And what else can we expect to happen, please?
Another thing is with Medicare, as I mentioned, that a lot of people, for example, state of California, I can't speak for other states because I'm not licensed or I don't work there.
You're not licensed there, yes.
In state of California, a lot of people have Medicare. They also apply for Medi-Cal. So in fact, people don't know, if you have Medicare, if you join a Medicare Advantage plan, it works essentially almost the same as a Medicare and Medi-Cal holders. So the reason why government realized that they're trying to cut the budget for Medicaid is also because it's on top of abusive use, they realize there's overlap of medical resources that a lot of seniors are applying. If you have Medicare, you could use your Medicare card to go essentially everywhere, right? And then you join a Medicare Advantage plan that pick up most of the copay. You're only left with the out-of-pocket maximum, maybe $3,400 for certain plan, some plan even lower. That's it for you. You pay for your Part B, which is about $29 this year a month, and then you pay for whatever you're responsible up to the $2,900 in medical expense. But however, these people, because they see the individuals who have Medi-Cal are so freely seeing doctors, they get so much benefit like food stamp, so they wanted that too. Ultimately, the greed for those people.
That's the abusive part. That's the abusive part, yeah.
And also overlapping of resources.
All right.
So what they are doing is essentially good, that they're cutting out the overlapping, so the qualification for Medicaid will now become stricter. As a result, people who actually do not qualify are unlikely to get the benefit. So we hope that this pool of Medicaid money will reserve to these people who are actually
Yeah, you're right. To be earmarked.
Correct.
To be earmarked. And speaking of the Obamacare Assembly version, Senate version, okay, suppose, how big is the chance of Obamacare survive, and how big is the chance they go back to Senate, to the Assembly bill, and how big is the chance to let the Senate version survive?
To be honest, the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare vision right now, even though there are a lot of opponents to this change, but a lot of people actually liked it, because I went, for example, me, I went from no insurance or can't afford any insurance to get access to affordable care in a way of maybe I get lower deductible, lower co-payment, lower out-of-pocket, and even lower premium. Right? However, with the both of the two new acts, the American Health Care Act and also the Better Care Reconciliation Act, both of these two are not giving you as much subsidy and not giving you as much benefit. So as a result, I think the people who went from being less privileged before Obamacare to become privileged under Obamacare will suffer the most.
In other words, to the beneficiaries, to us covered, Obamacare is more beneficial.
Correct.
Or is superior than any of the other two versions.
Correct.
Right. So now, do you think that we can play by the rule, by logic, the more the superior survives? In other words, how big is the chance Obamacare survives? No bill. As a matter of fact, when they try to overturn, they have to vote, right? When they themselves cannot cast a vote, there is no power of overturning. Right? How big is the chance Obamacare survives?
To myself, I think probably 50-50. The reason why I tell you is a lot of people are benefited, but a lot of people are concerned. For example, if you're the wealthy individual, you make a lot of money, your tax increase maybe from 30% to 50%. The hike in tax consequences to the rich individual who are probably most healthy and most wealthy are really, they're not getting benefit at all. And a lot of the wealthy and more powerful people are of this generation who are not being benefited at all. So as a result of Obamacare, because of the budget deficit, they want to shorten the budget deficit. These wealthy people will vote toward the new two laws, whether either or, right? However, the people who are less privileged, less wealthy, who are getting subsidies through Obamacare, really voting for Obamacare to stay.
But if you count number of votes, though, you have more poor.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah, they might be rich. They might be 1 zillion times richer than I am, but they have only one vote, right?
Right, but I also think that one problem we have to realize is that Obamacare, even though as good as it is, it creates a lot of trouble because the system is not well designed as enough.
Yeah, that's a birth deficit.
Yeah.
I mean, all right.
Yeah. And even the billing system, the invoice is often
billing
wrong.
system. That I don't know. That I don't know. Okay. And anyway, so the Assembly bill dies. Is already dead, or can be revived?
It can be revived.
Can be revived?
Yes, because the new the Better Care Reconciliation Act is really a step up of the American Health Care Act, because a lot of people, because the American Health Care Act target directly at some of the portion that Obamacare is like an opposite way. And however, the new the Better Care Reconciliation Act take a step back. It's making American Health Care Act a little bit better by not opposing Affordable Care Act as much, but more like
Uh,
a good mix of.
if we want to line up our preferences, so do we say Obamacare 1, Assembly Bill 2, the Senate Bill 3, or Senate Bill 2, the Assembly Bill 3?
Senate Bill 2, Assembly Bill.
Senate Bill 2, Assembly Bill 3.
对。
All right, good. In other words, if a GOP can, no, between Obamacare and the Senate bill, do you think Senate bill will supersedes the Obamacare?
As far as my preference, personally, I don't think it will, because being covered is the most important thing for a citizen like myself. However, if I have a larger vision, I'm not selfish enough to look at just me. I look at the overall country, because the Obamacare creates a large budget deficit. Thinking about the whole country, then I will be voting toward the Senate bill, because that will shrink the budget. However, because the budget shrink, it will create a lot of trouble to the people who currently have insurance receiving subsidy. So I will create some sort of insurance.
Oh, first of all, we have to give GOP time to balance themselves.
Correct.
All right. So anyway, today we are very happy. We have Coco Wang here from Gold Honor, and top of the line professionals in the whole industry. With Coco's help, we are understanding a little better about the situation. I believe the situation still develops.
Correct.
And it develops fast. Maybe by 2 weeks or 3 weeks, there is another version, or there's a new development of the Senate version going so forth, so on and so forth. And then that is the time we have another crying baby. We'll have Coco Wang here to handle, right?
Thank you, Jack.
Right. So my dear audiences, hope I did my job in spite of my toothache, so heavy. It's killing me almost. Thank you very much for watching. And to Coco, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack.
For helping.
Thank you.